Chapter 2.5. Okay, order of operations is always from left to right. Now, when I say parentheses over here, that could also include parentheses, curly braces, square brackets, fraction bars, absolute value signs, and also radical signs, which you won't have to worry about until chapter 7. But all of these are called grouping symbols, and that's basically what this parenthesis means. Now, I don't remember if you remember from chapter 1, but parentheses and exponents are technically 100-pound dogs in a fight. Multiply and divide are 50-pound dogs in a fight, and add and subtract are little ankle biters. Now, you never ever want to take out an ankle biter before you take out 100 or 50-pound dogs, because these guys are going to get you. Now, simplifying something, when you are simplifying, never ever never do them separately in pieces. Most people who miss these problems miss them because they're trying to do the work in pieces. By the way, guess what? It never goes away. And you know, math is like building a house. All of these early pieces that you are learning about, these are your foundation, and you never can get rid of your foundation, because if you do, you mess it up. Now, I don't know if you can see this very well unless you print this off, but this is a divide sign. So according to the order of operations, do I do minus, well, technically plus, or do I do divide first? Well, divide is a 50-pound dog, so you better do your divide before you do your plus or minus. And the first time you saw order of operations, you only had to really deal with positive numbers, but this time you've got negative numbers, so you got to be careful. A positive 4 divided by a positive 2 is a positive 2, so negative 10 plus 2. Now, a negative 10 and a positive 2 are unlike signs, so you have to subtract them. So 10 minus 2 is 8, and 10 is bigger. Our sign of 10 is negative, so our answer is negative. Now on B, we got a plus, a times, a minus. Well, a plus and a minus are ankle biters, but we got this times here, so we've got to do times before we do the other two. So that gives us 6, and a positive 7 times a positive 3 is a plus 21 minus 10. Now I've got both plus and minus, so from left to right I do these two first. So it's 27 minus 10, and that gives us 17. Remember here, these mean times. So I would do this, but at the same time simplify the double signs. So 5 times a negative, positive times negative is minus. 5 times 3 is 15. Minus a minus is plus 12. Opposite signs subtract, so 15 minus 12 is 3, and the sign of the larger number is negative. If you have questions, make sure to ask. Now we've got an exponent, but we also have some grouping symbols. Now this grouping symbol right here with the parenthesis is just separating double signs. Plus a minus is minus. So that's 8 minus 4, and then we square that answer. So 8 minus 4 is 4. Now we can square it. 4 squared is 4 times 4. and that is 16. Ooh, it's getting uglier. Here's a times, and as I go from left to right, ooh, here's a times also, but it's separated, so I can actually do that at the same time as I do this one. And then I've got double signs. Now, positive 8 times positive 6 is positive 48. Uh-oh. Negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. Plus a minus is minus 2. Now, from left to right, 48 minus 15 gives us 33, and then minus 2. 33 minus 2 is 31. Notice I simplified 48, I simplified the 3 and 5, and I simplified my minus, but did I leave anything out? No. And then when I simplified 48 minus 15, I brought that down, but I still brought my minus 2 down. So when you do these, never, ever, never do them in pieces. Now on F, the absolute value of negative 7 plus 3 is the absolute value of negative 4. Now because these are separated, I can at the same time I can do the 2 to the third power. And I'm just going to go ahead and write this out all the way. 2 times 2 times 2. As we found earlier on one of the other videos, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And remember, the absolute value doesn't care what sign it is inside. You still get a positive number coming out. And 2 times 2 times 2 gives us 8. So a positive 4 times a positive 8 is a positive 32. And I promise you, with the order of operations in chapter 2.5, it is not going to be your best dream ever. It's going to probably be your worst nightmare, because as you see, these are just progressively getting longer and uglier. Okay? So make sure you learn it at the small steps. Now, 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64. So I'm doing the square, and I can't do this fourth power to the fourth power because I've got a parenthesis I have to do first. And normally once I do the parenthesis I would get rid of it, but it's to a power. And 2 minus 5 is negative 3 to the fourth power. And remember, a negative number to an even power becomes a positive answer. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out the negative. So that gives me 64 minus, and I'm going to go ahead and write this out. And yes, that negative was killed, but that negative has to stay. And this is 9 times 9. And 9 times 9 is 81, so 64 minus 81. Ooh, this is ugly. Okay, 81 minus 64. And I'm actually going to do this over on the side here. Ooh, 1 minus 4, I can't do it. So I've got to steal 1 from my 8. That makes it 11. And that makes the 8 turn to a 7. So 11 minus 4 is 7. 7 minus 6 is 1. And the sign of our bigger number is negative. So our answer here is negative 17. That is an ugly problem, I'll just tell you. Now, same idea. I've got parentheses, I've got exponents, I've got a divide sign running around. Well, divide, if we look back up here, divide and then exponents and parentheses. Well, these are 100-pound dogs in a fight. These are 50-pound dogs in a fight. So I've got to work here before I can do this division. So 5 minus 4, or 5 minus 9 is negative 4. And square that, and then divide it by 4 minus 2 is 2. And we square that. Negative squared, chop chop. And now 4 squared is 16. Divided by 2 squared is 4. And 16 divided by 4 gives us 4. Whew. Wow. Are you a little scared yet? If you're not normal. Now, again, a whole bunch of stuff running around. This is a plus sign, not a divide. We got a plus, we got a bracket, a minus, parentheses, minus, parentheses, minus, exponent. A lot of stuff. So let's deal with the parentheses first. And also, when you've got parentheses and brackets, then the next thing would be, if we needed them, curly braces. And they always go in that order. You work from inside out. Now, this parenthesis is not in the same group with this one, so I can work it as well. Now watch. The 1 comes down, plus 2, bracket, 7 minus, parenthesis, oh actually, yeah, I need the parenthesis on this one because it's negative. Negative 3, close it, plus, and then 2 minus 3 is negative 1 to the 3rd power. Now, can I do this plus before I finish the rest of this problem? If you said yes, you're wrong. Because remember, 2 hugged up to a grouping symbol means times. Times is a bigger dog than plus. So we say 1 plus 2 times 7 minus a minus is plus 3. Now, let's deal with this one right here. And we've already dealt with the minus a minus. Negative 1 to an odd power, we keep our minus. And plus a minus is minus. Then 1 times 1 times 1 is still a 1. Now I don't know if you can see that, but a positive 1 minus a 1, we can actually shortcut that. Now we say 7 plus 3 is 10, so 2 times 10, and that gives us 20. Is your head spinning yet? I know mine would be if I was just learning this. Now on J, we've got a negative, remember, times a negative. So they kill each other. But this negative has to stay there. And so we're going to do this part of it, and this part of it, and this part of it. Because, and I can do all 3 pieces at one time because they're separated. So 7 times 3 is 21, minus 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 3 times bracket 7 divided by, now 3 minus 10 is negative 7. Now I can do the 21 minus 12, and at the same time, because they're separated, 7 divided by negative 7. 21 minus 12 is 9 divided by 3, and remember I'm getting the times here. 7, positive 7 divided by negative 7 is a negative 1. And then 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Now remember, we're going back to spun. Unlike signs, because that's positive and that's negative, is a negative answer. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now this last one. Finding the average of positive and negative numbers all together, or mixed together like this. Hint, step 1, add your numbers that have like signs first. So I'm going to just stack them. Negative 10, negative 4, negative 5, negative 12. So it takes care of all of my negative numbers. Now I'm going to take my positive numbers. 8 plus 2 plus 7. 8, 2, and 7. Now I'm going to add these. So 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 7 more is 17. Now that's a positive 17. And then 0 plus 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 2 more, 10, 11. Carry 1 down, carry 1 up. 1, 2, 3. And remember, if they have the same signs, you keep the sign and add them. So now, step 2, subtract the results. So I take negative 31 plus 17, opposite signs, subtract. 1 minus 7, can't do it, so we got to steal 1 from there and put it here. So 11 minus 7 is 4, 2 minus 1 is 1, and unfortunately we got more minuses than pluses. Now, how many numbers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, step 3, divide by how many numbers we have here. So we take 7 divided into 14, and it's a negative, so this answer is going to be negative. And 7 goes into 14 2 times. So I know I put a negative there, but let's not do that. Let's hold it for the end because of the fact that we had to subtract. So now, so now in our answer needs to keep the negative in it. So actually don't work with the negative when you're doing your division, but do carry the negative sign into your answer. Even though this page didn't have a whole lot put on it, this was a very big lesson. So you might want to take the time and listen to this lesson several times. Have a good day. Bye.